Who's heard this before, welcome back to the 52 Weeks to Wealth. This is Wealth Principle 31, which means we've been traveling through the wealth principles for the last 31 weeks on our way to getting more money and doing it with less work. Hence the care if you want to make more money this year and do it with less effort. Anybody in the room looking for that? Excellent. We're also here seeking to double our income and double our net worth. Now, most people, when I say I double my income and double my net worth every single year, they think, what are you, robbing people? Is it something illegal? So let me clarify. We must, everything we do must be moral, ethical, and legal. That way, it actually works. You actually get to keep the money. So wealth principle 31 is when setting sales goals, go for no. When setting sales goals, go for no. This wealth principle was designed to get you to the next level when you're seeking to increase income. Again, by show of hands, who here is seeking to increase income? A lot of us. It looks like everybody on the call is actually looking to seek to increase income. Now, the reason we're doing that is because we live in an economical world. We live in a world where money is required to give you the things that you want. In order to feel like the person that you deserve being, you have to have money. In order to go to a vacation, fly on a plane, to buy that vehicle or clothe yourself or provide food for your family, shelter for your family, you're going to require having this economic paper, this asset. Hence, camera, if it, you are aware it is paper. It is just, slices of trees. So when they say it doesn't grow on trees, that's actually a lie. It does. And it's abundant. There is so much of it out there. I'm going to share my screen. Give me a thumbs up if you see it on the screen. Can you see Wealth Principle 31? Excellent. So Wealth Principle 31, if you're taking notes, is when setting sales goals, go for no. We're going to go through the 5 levels of failure today. I'm going to talk about failure because that is essentially what stops people from moving forward. There's 2 things that people are afraid of more than anything else. And no, it's not public speaking. It's death and failure. They don't want to be perceived as someone who's a loser, as someone who loses things. In fact, that's why public speaking, so many people are afraid of it, is because they're afraid that they might be perceived as someone who's not good enough, not worthy. So I want to eliminate, I'm going to go through those 5 steps of failure. But before I do it, let me go back to anybody who has not heard me speak before. Is there anybody on the call who's never heard me speak, doesn't know anything about me, doesn't know my story, where I'm coming from? I love you, Kevin. My name is Walter Morell, the real estate mentor. I started off completely broke. So I'm asked, oh, well, you were, raised rich, family was rich. No, I wrote the book, Broke to a Quarter Million. I share the whole story of how I started from absolutely nothing. As a multimillionaire, people think I came out of the womb that way. People think I came out of my mom just being like, money, I got it. Absolutely. My parents weren't rich. I was raised in the brokest city of Massachusetts. In a non-landlord friendly state, I became one of the largest landlords in my city. By largest landlords, I mean, there's still like about 18 people, a little bigger than me. So, but they have, 200 units, 500 units. They're crushing 100 units. Melanie Santos is on her way to pass me. She's working hard. But I started with absolutely nothing. It came to a divorce. Who here's been divorced? Anybody ever suffer the pain of like loss? Anybody been through a breakup? You think you know what a divorce is. You don't. Right? A real divorce means financially you're torn apart, emotionally you're torn apart, and then you have your standing. You have this standing that you used to have as a married person, you lose it. So I lost all of those components to my life and I had to start over. And I was also an accountant. So when people like I'm here teaching sales today, remember I was an accountant who sat in an office who hated other people, didn't want to talk to anybody. I believed I was an introvert and all I wanted to do was go in, get my job, get my money and leave. And if I didn't have to go into the office to get my money, I would be even happier. Can anybody relate to that? Ever been there? It's like if you just passed me the money, I'd be perfectly fine. And I ended up during the divorce not having my job anymore. So everything was at the bottom. I decide, genius move. I'm going to get into real estate. And not only am I going to get into real estate, I'm going to be a salesperson. So my first year, I went from making $75,000 as a finance person working for Johnson & Johnson to $17,000 as the worst salesperson in my city, hands down. I don't think anybody else made $17,000 that year. The next year, something changed. Something snapped. I was sitting on a bucket, and I'll tell the story at the 100 Millionaire Summit, and it's in the book. But something snapped. I said, you know what? I've got to change my life because what I'm doing isn't working. And that year, I made $115,000. The next year, I made $250,000. The year after that, I made $500,000. At 30 years old, I was retired. At 32, I was a millionaire. At 34, I was a multimillionaire. Now at 36, I'm out here, but I'm paying it forward. I'm traveling the world. I'm traveling the country. Oh, not the world, not so much. Not going to Russia yet. But the idea is that I'm here serving. I'm paying it forward. Hands to the camera if you know that once you get yours, you might pay it forward on some level. You don't have to do the crazy stuff I'm doing, but if somebody asked you to get rich, would you be willing to share your secrets, your tips? I'm on a mission to build 100 millionaires who are inspired to build 100 millionaires. So in that light, in the light of that, let's dive into the 5 steps to failure. You might want a pen and paper and travel along with me on this. Going for no it's magical. It really is. When you set the bar at no, suddenly yes is like, yeah, whatever, no big deal. You'll keep going. But if you set the bar at as soon as I get a yes, as soon as you get a yes, you're gonna stop. Who here's done that before? As soon as you got a yes, you're like, oh, cool, success. Celebrate the yes. When you're going for no, I celebrate the no's. If I want 20 no's, I'm going to celebrate those. I might get 6 yeses in between that, right? But I won't stop at that yes. I'll just continue because it's about the no's. Now, at the end of the day, you're allowed to celebrate your successes. Who's been through the mentorship program? No, we celebrate our successes. Yes, we do. We clap, we cheer, we applaud. Like we're like, yeah, crushed it. But in the moment of the grind, you've got to stay grinding. You got to keep moving, keep going forward, keep doing the things that get you to be successful. So the barriers that come up are these 5 fears. So let's identify them. And I don't want to be negative. We got to know what they look like to identify them so we can move away from them. Hands care if you understand that. We're not here to focus and say these are our reality. These are just an awareness that allows us to shift. So the 5 failure levels. First, level 1 is the ability to fail. Level 1 is the ability to fail. And what that means is, have you ever failed before? Has anybody here ever failed anything in your life? Not something as intense as a marriage, but maybe a test, right? So if you failed, you now have proven to yourself that you potentially could fail, right? In the past, maybe you didn't know, maybe you weren't certain about this, but now with at least one failure, a couple of failures, you're now okay with it. 100% of people on the planet have the ability to fail. This is good. Give yourselves a round of applause. What keeps most people at level 1 is their intense desire to avoid failure at all costs. As a result, 90% of all people will never get past this level. So if you have gotten to level 1, congratulations, you're human. Let's see if I can get you to level 2, if you've been there before. As we're going through this, some of you may identify that you've been past even level 2. Maybe you've gotten to level 3. Level 2 is the willingness to fail. Remember, 90% of the planet will never get to level 2. Hence, Cameron, if you've gotten to level 2, you've embraced that failure is a part of the process. It's okay. Are you willing to fail? Willing to make mistakes? Excellent. I'm not encouraging it. I'm not encouraging failure. What I'm encouraging is the law of detachment, the willingness to be okay with not getting the exact result you want on the first shot. Now, the result you want is going to happen for you if you stay in it long enough, if you're willing to fail, if you allow that willingness to occur. Now, the next one is a little interesting because it comes from the second one. You must go through the process. You must have the willingness to fail in order to eventually shift over into the wantingness to fail. Who here, by show of hands, feels that one's a little weird, a little uncomfortable? Like the idea of wanting to fail. It's okay. Getting to level 3 means you've spent some serious time in level 2. Level 3, the wantingness, means to develop the desire to fail with the inner faith that your personal financial growth will follow. It's not just failing for the sake of failing. It's the belief that you are a growing human being, an entity that is capable of getting to a whole other level. Who here believes that? Who believes that you grow every day, that you have something great inside that you can keep moving forward? So this wantingness to fail, well, only 5% will ever get to this level. That's care if you know that you're capable of being that 5%. Hell yeah. Even if you don't want to fail today, I promise you, if you're on this call in this community, you have the ability to fall in love with the idea of learning through failure. There's another way to look at this, and I've heard a lot of successful people say this: "I'm never wrong." Who here believes they're never wrong? Right? On some level, you're like, "You might believe I'm wrong, but I believe I might be right." The reason successful people are never wrong is because of this: I'm either wrong or I learn, and then I'm right either way. And Scam, if you recognize that's more important, right? It's more important. It's not, I don't care if I'm wrong at first. I threw something out there. I might have been the first to say it. I might have been the first to pitch an idea. Cool. I started the game. But at the end of it, I know, leave with the right result. I will absolutely leave the conversation with whatever the highest and best use of my time is after that conversation. And Scam, if you know that's true for you also, you're committed to always leveling up. This is something that successful businesses, business owners, salespeople, entrepreneurs, parents, in shape people recognize. Look, I might have messed up on that call. That might not have been the one. But next time, I'm going to try something different. I'm going to do something that works. And if that doesn't work, well, I'll try something different. Hence, care if you would never give up on your kids learning how to walk. Absolutely. Just go out there, right? You fail forward. That's another one. Write that down. The wantingness to fail. This belief of failing forward may help. Running, by the way, running. Who has ever run? Seen somebody run? Knows what running looks like? The angular position of running. Running is not a straight situation. It is always one step away from failure. Like if you just chose to hold that foot back, it's a pretty bad situation. Who's experienced that situation? Who's fallen before in mid-run? Yeah, not cool. Not a cool experience. Nothing about it is fun. But in order to run, you must be willing and wanting that exhilaration, that feeling of I might fall. I'm going to continue through this. I see some hands going up. We're going to continue all the way through the rest of this lesson, and then I'll take questions right at the end. So appreciate the enthusiasm and the desire to jump into it. Next one. This next level of fear or failing is where it starts to really open up for you. Failing bigger and faster. Get into that next level of failure. Not just sticking to the small stuff anymore, but paying attention to how big can I fail? And it occurs when people come to the conclusion that if failing is good, that failing faster is better. And not just faster, but once I get to that next level, I'm going to increase that level of failure, that failure rate, doing it and going after bigger and bigger goals worthy of the effort. When we talk about our campaigns in Alchemist Connect, we are seeking to fail, right? At some level, I'm expecting that I'm going to send out a text. It's going to piss a few people off. Hence, Karen, if you've ever done something that you knew was probably going to offend a few people, like marketing or something. Same with social media. I'm going to put a post out there that I believe is genuinely true, but also might piss a few people off. I target the enmity of broke people. Like if a broke person who never wants to change their life, like poor mindset folk, I target that enmity. I'm like, fucking hate me. Go ahead. Because I'm looking for the love and admiration of people who want to change their lives. I'm looking for the loyalty of somebody who's building their business, who's determined to help people, who's determined to serve on a bigger level. And I know that poor people are selfish. Now I know this, some of you probably know these poor people and some of them may be on this call, but here's what I mean when I say selfish. They're focused on themselves, just enough money to get by, just enough to be comfortable. They're not paying to charities. They don't have any money to pay for charities. So they're not thinking about making extra. If they had extra money, they wouldn't give it to a charity. They'd save it so they didn't have to go to work the next day. Who knows these people? Seen these people? Maybe related to some of these people. So that pain, that experience of people not being happy with you, the faster you can get to more of that, the more education you get. It's like taking a whole bunch of courses, seeing what doesn't work. With our text message campaigns, we'll send a blast out. We'll just shoot it out, see if it works. If it doesn't hit, cool. We'll try another one. We'll try another one. We'll try another one. And as they fail, we're looking at the characteristics of the things that failed and the characteristics of the things that didn't fail. Something out of 10 texts is going to work. Hence, Karen, if you know that's true. You say 10 things, eventually one's going to hit. The failures lead to that. And we have to get excited about it. When we first started, I remember that feeling. Who's ever done these sort of campaigns before? Done workflows or campaigns or blast text with anybody? Okay, so our marketers know this feeling. What if I text my list and everybody blocks me? That would be the worst situation ever, right? It's like we have this fear. Here's what happens. You get a new list. Worst case scenario. Best case, like typically they don't block you. You get a handful of blocks. You're going to get a handful of blocks. Even if you sent somebody a text that said, hey, I got $1 million. I'm wiring it right now. That's if you know that's true. You probably block them, right? I block those all the time. I'm like, yeah, all right. Yeah, unless you're my attorney, in which case I send it. Yeah, send it over. Because no matter what you're offering, there's somebody out there who's not going to believe it. There's somebody out there who's not interested. There's somebody out there who's got other things they're focused on. And scam, if you know that's true. Excellent. So we're going to fail forward. There's nothing wrong with it. Now, this last level of failure, remember, most people never get past number one. So if you're past number one, if you're at number two, then there's hope for you to get to level 3, and there's hope for you to get to level 4. And level 5, this is the mecca of failing. This is failing on an epic scale. This is failing so big, so grand, that it's remembered for a long period of time behind you. The idea of exponential failure, level 5 is failing exponentially. The idea behind this is that just like the compound effect, you started this 8th wonder of the world, compound interest. So failing exponentially, this level is for those rare individuals who understand that massive success requires multiplication of effort. Those people enlist others to fail with them, knowing that if one individual failure means individual success, then group failure means equal group success. Hence, if you've ever been a part of something where it was, a group effort and you failed, right? It was like, hey, but we all failed together. We all collaborated. We learned something bigger. I'd say Alchemist Nation is one of those. Who here is a real estate investor? Real estate investor slamming deals? Hell yeah. Give yourselves a round of applause. Real estate's a hell of a vehicle to get rich, which is why we have an unfair advantage. We're always looking for unfair advantages in building wealth. Who here is excited about becoming a millionaire? Focused on becoming a millionaire? Excellent. Excellent. Who here knows that once they are a millionaire, they'll join the mission, build 100 millionaires? Hands to camera if you know you're a part of that. Absolutely. Excellent. That is a group effort, right? Building millionaires is a random thing. At first it seemed like that anyway, but as we started going, we started realizing there's actually a process to this. There's an insane, simple process to building millionaires. Who's noticed that we've got it down pretty damn good? Who here has increased their income or net worth since hanging out with us? Hands to the camera if you've increased income or net worth. Excellent. Or become financially free. Who's gotten financially free, been able to quit their job, and now they're doing something they love? Hands to the camera if you're doing something you love. Awesome. Give yourselves a round of applause. Great job. This process is actually documentable, and it's not about information. I mean, information's important. Who believes, knowledge is power? You do need some information. Here's what I found. Knowledge creates procrastination. Information creates analysis paralysis, which is especially suspect for people who are in the investment arena. Hence, care if you are in the investment arena, investing in real estate, maybe. So analysis paralysis is something that we're prone to as investors. So I realized that too much knowledge. I was given all these courses and coaching programs and doing books and blogs, and too much knowledge was not getting people to take action. It was getting people to come hang out, but it wasn't getting them to take action. What we shifted to was meeting in person and doing live calls like this and networking and doing breakout rooms. And once there was a community, people started taking action. Who here knows you do a little better when you know somebody else is keeping an eye on you, when somebody else might be watching what you're doing? And how about this? Who knows you do a little better knowing somebody's got your back? Does anybody feel that? Like, you're doing a little better. Like if I needed it, there's somebody out there who's got it. There's something about tribe and community that actually moves people forward. Now, here's the struggle. I, by claim, am an introvert. So this idea of tribe was not natural to me. I built my business in a lot of ways by avoiding people. Right? That's why I got into investing. The idea was, how do I build investments how do I build a business and income stream without having to talk to anybody? but I had to learn social skills. Hands can if you're okay with talking to other people. You're okay with learning social skills because it's necessary, right? Absolutely. Smart. All the rich people say communication is key. So as I went through the process, I started realizing that if I want to build millionaires, I'd have to get them together. I'd have to get these people together in a group. 52 Weeks to Wealth is a process. But one very interesting thing that I didn't expect when we started doing live events was that when we got everybody together, they increased just exponentially. When people are in the room, there's some sort of energetic exchange that 10x's, Grant Cardone, well, 10x's the opportunity for somebody to be successful. Who here has met with other people in this community before? And see if you've met with other people in a group setting. Isn't it powerful? There's something about it. You just feel like there's an opportunity in every direction. There's something that you could leverage and use. And so Darina and I have spent years, building events and doing events. But when we finally got together, we said, we're going to do one big grand event, an event to top all events. And that event we call the 100 Millionaires Summit. It is the event. It's a showstopper. This thing has action, right? It does have action. It has education. It has networking. It has celebrities because, everybody likes a good celebrity. We've got Mitch Jorsky right there, the crypto cat. So we will talk a little bit about crypto and real estate. Ryan McDermott, who recognizes anybody on this call? Vinny Chopra, billionaire. We've got Chris Naugle, has over 1 million followers. Liz Faircloth built the Invest Her community. She's going to be on stage talking about how to build teams. Who here is ready to build teams? Who's scaling up at that level where you need a little extra people to do the work for you? She's going to be talking about how to build teams. Sam Prim has built a 2 million person following. He owns over $40 million worth of real estate, all single family homes. And it's Cam, he's got a hell of a system to be doing that out in the Midwest. Very cool process. He's going to talk about how to buy real estate with zero money down. Darina, obviously the queen of follow-up. Also, I'd like to say like a mother to this community. Everybody knows who Darina is. Hands if you've talked to Darina on some level at some point. Yeah, she runs the show. Absolutely. Doug McGurk's going to teach you how to talk better. When I say talk better, I mean get people to sell you things, get people to agree with you. Compliance. Mike Shine's going to teach you how to partner. Who did mention that they wanted partnerships, wanted people to partner with them, bring them money, bring them deals, or do the deal for them? Absolutely. And then Heidi is going to talk about something very special, self-sabotage. Who's been a victim of this? A little self-sabotage before? Anybody on the call? Excellent. And then Dr. Terry Wager, actually, I'll save Terry for last here. Mitch Durfee is going to be talking about credit, business credit. Who here knows they need credit to buy real estate? You don't need it, but man, it makes it easy. Having some credit goes a long way. And then Dr. Terry Wager. Dr. Terry is going to be talking about goal setting. Did you know that it's impossible to hit a goal if you don't have one? Anybody know that? Absolutely impossible. And here's what's interesting. Every goal you set, if you stick to it, you will hit. And so at the 100 Millionaire Summit, we've got two options. Oh, by the way, it's not free. Who here knows you got to pay to get into something like this? This is a game of players. There's two options I'm going to talk about because most of you are in the Recession Proof Challenge, already have a general ticket. To upgrade to VIP, you get an extra day with me. Thursday, we're going to be talking about team building, culture, scaling, and outsourcing, hiring other people in your business, how to identify how to do that, who to do that with, and getting you to that next level. Then at night, we're going to have dinner with all the coaches who are in town. There's like 2 coaches who aren't in town on Thursday night. Is that okay if 2 miss it? Here's what makes it amazing. One of them's the billionaire. One of them will be Vinny Chopra having dinner with us. Who knows they want to have dinner with Vinny Chopra? Me too. I'm very much looking forward to this. So the VIP tickets have access to an extra day. They're getting lunch on Friday or Saturday. We're going to be talking about everything in advance of getting into the summit that you're going to need when you're in the summit to be finding your partners and your team members. Who knows the VIPs are going to be on a mission this weekend? Absolutely. At the 100 Millionaire Summit on Thursday, we're going to line them up so that they can be hunting for their team members so that they know exactly who to look for, what they're looking for, and how to find them. And then executives, by the way, there's only 30 tickets for the VIPs, and I've already sold out half. Just so, like a full disclosure, these will sell quick. and there's only 15 left. But right behind the VIPs are the executives. So who knows, you make more money when you're in proximity to money. The VIPs are expensive tickets. That's true. They're getting a whole lot. They're at that level where that makes sense for them. For the executives, you get to sit right behind the VIPs exclusively. Now I'm going to move people around the room, but I will not move people vertically, only horizontally. So if you're in the executive area, you stay in the executive area. If you're in the VIP area, you're staying in the VIP area. If you're in the general, you're staying in the general. But who knows? I move people around their seats. Yeah, I did it a lot last year. I'm doing a lot this year. So it's the same exact process. The difference is how close to those players can you get? How close in proximity can you get to the players, to the splash zone, to the people who are making moves? Because all they're looking for could be what you've got, because they've definitely got the money. They've definitely got the systems in place. They may be looking for that deal finder, or they may be looking for somebody to do the work for them. Hence, Karen, if you know you'd like to partner up with a player at the 100 Millionaire Summit, absolutely. So have a conversation with Darina or Amy. If you've already got tickets to the summit, have a conversation with them about upgrading your tickets. And then if you're bringing somebody, here's a strategy to bring people. When you bring somebody to this event, bring people you want to partner with. Do not bring people that you don't think will be interested in investing with you. You can hang out with them afterwards, right? You can tell them about things. You want people who are going to stay focused on task. You want hungry people who are motivated, who have a reason to be there. You may have real estate agents that you need on your team. You may have wholesalers you need on your team. You may have lenders you need on your team. Private investors who are thinking about learning about real estate. This is the perfect event for them to be in the room next to you and then find out that you're the player, because that's how I'm going to present every one of my alchemists at the summit. Is if you're an alchemist, if you're in this event and you brought somebody, you're a player, you know what you're talking about. You've been through my programs. You've been through Buy Real Estate to Cash Flow and Get Rich. You know how to make people money. And Scamp, you know that's true. You can make people a lot of money just by being who you are and doing what you do. So bring your investors, because I'm going to be celebrating you guys. This is an opportunity. You don't have to run your own event. I'm going to run it for you and make you look like a celebrity. Hence, Karen, if that's cool, if I make it look badass. Our millionaires, the people we've built over the last 3 years, building millionaires, there is an award you're going to be getting. So dress nice on day 2. On Saturday, please dress appropriately, because you will be on stage. I will have my camera crews making sure they're catching your video walk on stage. They'll be catching your pictures on stage. So you'll be able to say, I received an award for being a millionaire from this community, which is pretty badass validation if you ever decide to do deals with other people, if you're looking for partners, if you ever become a coach or a speaker. Hence, camera, if you know, that's all very important for your business. Absolutely. Perception is everything. So the 100 Millionaire Summit is October 21st to the 23rd. It is an exciting event. It is an important event. We are not going to be sleeping much. Hence, Cam, if you know, you can sleep when you die. Right? We're here to accomplish some goals, and time is valuable. What I've discovered is I can get a lot out of a person in a short period of time if I'm efficient with that time. And so on Friday, we're starting at 8:00. Registration is the night before. Register the night before, because you want to be there before 8:00 to do a little bit of networking, to get the best position in your seating arena. The closest to stage gets seen by the mostest of people. Right? Whenever I'm at an event, I sit front, corner left, or corner right, because if the person on stage calls on me, I'm standing and I got the whole room looking at me. And it's if you understand that science now, right? It's all about being seen, recognized. So there's a system to all of this. At 8:00, we start sharp. There is no messing around. I literally start at 8:00, because by 8:07, I've got something else going on. Every single minute at the summit counts. If you miss it, you'll miss it, and you'll regret it, because every single minute is super cool. Hands camera, if you were there last year, you know I start at 8:00. It's game on. There's no messing around. At around 11:00 at night, we'll still be going. Who was there last year? Remembers late nights? Oh, yeah. Last year, did you handle it? Were you able to survive all those hours? Did you gain a ton last year? Was it a badass event? Awesome. Excellent. Who here found some amazing people in the room? Who did some great networking? found some great opportunities. I know some millionaire partnerships created, multi-million-dollar deals were created from people who had never met each other before, came together at the event and have done big deals together. Big deals, small deals, partnered with people, so many opportunities. The 100 Millionaire Summit this year is something to use and leverage as a tool. Bring your team with you. Something I did with Grant Cardone a few years ago. I brought 10 people with me. I've spent a couple $1,000s. I brought all of my real estate agents, my top agents, not my lower tier agents, my top agents, my business partner, my brother, a couple of our friends. I brought everybody with me. That was one of the best things I ever did, because all of those people are still in my life today. They're all players. They're all getting to that next level. So the 100 Millionaire Summit is designed to be exactly the same way. Bring your players. Now, don't do what I did. This was my mistake. Don't pay for their tickets. Let them pay for their tickets. Unless you're a VIP holder, in which case, the VIPs, you do get 5 tickets. Bring the people you want involved. Your employees, bring your managers, bring your spouse for sure. By the way, everybody who buys a general ticket, regardless, whatever ticket you buy, you're getting to bring your spouse. Is that good? You bring your spouse or your business partner with you. So key component is get people on board with each other. You want people on board. You want them together making decisions. You want them, if you're meeting with somebody and there's a potential money deal, you want your partner right there to say yes. You don't want to, well, let me call my partner. Let's get on a call a week from now. Ask if you understand this. If a deal is a deal, take the deal. Absolutely. Go to 100mmsummit.com. If you haven't registered your tickets, this is for everybody who's out in the social media realm. Click the link in the bio and go get your tickets today. Register now. Take action, because successful people take action. For everybody who's already going, give yourselves a round of applause. There's plenty of room at the top. I will see you at the summit. And we got a book of the week. Who here has read the book Go for No? Who's read the book Go for No? Excellent. Who would like to give a review of the book Go for No? Who's interested in jumping on and saying a little bit about the book, how it was for you, the reading of it process? Anybody? All right, no worries. I'll run it. It's cool. Mike Shine is driving, by the way. Our keeper of the books is on the road. He started driving at 3 o'clock this morning. He's driving with his oldest son, his dog, and his cat, and he's driving all the way from Rhode Island all the way down to Miami just to high five Mitch Jorsky. Sole purpose, to give Mitch a high five. And then he's going to fly to Roatan to join the rest of his family in his new home in Roatan. So he did move to a tropical island, and maybe Mitch is just a place where he's going to crash for the night. So let's give Mike Shine a big round of applause. He might be listening to us on Facebook right now. Love you, brother. And here is the book of the week. Go for No. If you haven't read it, this is a great book because it's short, it's small, it's simple, and he does go a little deeper into those 5 steps of failure, but then he talks about how to get past them, how to get to the other side of it. He also has a great story in this. This is not like a book with a bunch of information and a guy saying, do this, do that. It's about a guy who bumps his head on the golf course and wakes up he bumped his head. He was a failure, right? Complete failure in sales. Bumps his head on the golf course, wakes up a killer in sales, wakes up a champion. He's living like a whole alternate reality. And he's walking through and he's realizing, I'm one of the richest guys in my city. I've gone through he's like, this can't be mine, but oh no, it's mine. Yeah, this is yours. You know, this is your house. This is your wife. And everything about his life is better. And he starts trying to do this math. He's like, what was it that I changed? Like, what is it about? Why is this life so much better? And he starts doing some research in this alternate reality he's in, this dream he's in. And he starts discovering it's because he found this one principle to not stop at the yes, but to keep going for the next no. He set a calculated amount of no's, and he would teach this to his sales team. And this was the life that he lived. He would always go for no. And that was what created every opportunity. And the story unfolds. He starts realizing that opportunity was because he said, somebody said no to him, and then no to him, and no to him. And then eventually enough yeses happened. And when he comes back, he wakes up, he's, on the golf course, wakes up, bumped his head. He changes his entire life and makes a commitment to go for no instead of going for yes. Fantastic story. And he talks a lot about the emotions behind it. And he gives you a lot of encouragement as to how to use this properly. Hence, if that's a pretty powerful book. Go for No by Richard Fenton and Andrea Waltz. Check it out. on Amazon, or go to my website and use my affiliate link, and then buy all your other stuff on Amazon because it'll stick to my affiliate link. And Scam, if you know, affiliate marketing makes a lot of sense. Sometimes just sense. But if you're selling something like Alchemist Connect, well, maybe you make $25 a month every month for as long as people are using it. Hence, Scam, if you know, I'm going to keep improving it so people will keep using it, keep making money off of it. That's the plan. That's the play. Dr. Terry Wager, I think it's about time that we have a little conversation.
All right.
If you know who Dr. Terry Wager is, know who he is. He wrote a special book. Who's read his book? Anybody got close to him? Excellent. Let's stop this real quick. We're gonna hit record. Dr. Terry Wager, I've got to ask you some questions about setting goals and what you will be talking about at the 100 Millionaire Summit. By the way, for everybody on the call, let's give Dr. Terry Wager a big round of applause. He's going to be one of our speakers at the summit, and he's doing a very special exercise. So without going into the exercise, Terry, just tell us a little bit about what we're going to get from it. Why should we set goals?
Really, you can't go anywhere if you don't set goals. How many people have ever gone to the grocery store? How many people decided to go to the grocery store before you got in the car? Now, a great question is, how many people ended up getting to the place you were trying to go if you didn't decide where you were going? I don't see it very often. I mean, I know a lot of people drive around in circles doing nothing, calling it cruising or whatever. But the reality is, if you don't have a place you're going, it's very difficult to get there. And it's very difficult to have benchmarks to get there. It's very difficult to measure your progress or measure your time. It's really difficult to do anything in life without goals. And so when we're thinking about building a business, right there, the first thing you do is, I want to build a business. That's a goal. It might be a desire, and most goals, by the way, are desires. But then it becomes something that you really want to actually do. It starts to have a life of its own and parameters that need to be really looked at. And if you're not doing it intentionally, you're unintentionally going to have consequences, or unintentional consequences. And so, bumps in the road, trash on the track, all of those things we talk about that really get in the way of your journey to the grocery store, so to speak. So you want to be able to really identify what the goal is, what the stops along the way are, and how to get there. When you start developing the goal, you'll also start identifying what kind of process that you need, that Walter talks about all the time. You're going to think about what software you need to be able to do it. You're going to think about who's going to be on your team. And one of the things that Christine and I do very well is help companies build their teams to hit their goals. Everything we do is focused on the result you want. And if you're not focused on your results, you're not focused at all.
So Terry, one of the things that I see from people is, as they're say working with a coach or they're working with us, their goals change. Have you noticed that? Have you noticed that somebody, and by the way, by a show of hands, has anybody ever changed their goals before, or could imagine, create the illusion that somebody else might change their goals? Why do people do that, Terry?
Well, there's many reasons. The reason I like the best that people are changing their goals is because they've met them. And that is an awesome reason to change your goals. But unfortunately, most of the time, people change their goals because they're actually changing their goal because their behavior isn't playing out the way they want to actually meet the goal. So what they do is they reduce their goal, or they modify it in some way. Oh, I had a goal of $300,000 this year, but I'm only halfway through the year, and so I'm not close to that. So I think I'll only do 100,000. And so they reduce the amount of pressure on themselves by changing their goal. The other thing people do is, that shiny object syndrome that we talk about all the time. It's a fear-based bounce. I've said this for years, is shiny object is a really good way to make ourselves feel better about running from goals. And so what we end up doing, and I'm a little controversial and a little in your face, but the fact of the matter is anybody that's getting distracted from their goals, they're afraid of their goal and they're afraid they're not going to make it. So they change it. and they go to do a new thing that they think is going to be easier. And I tell you what, Walter, and anybody listening here, the beginning of something is always easier than getting in the trench and keeping going. It's always easy to start something, but it's not as easy to finish.
I love this. So 100 Millionaire Summit coming up. Dr. Terry is a pivotal part of our training because goals are where it all starts. So let's give Dr. Terry Wager a big round of applause. Hands to the camera if you loved the promo video that Darina did earlier, saw the promo video, thought it was fire. Do I have permission to share it again on Facebook Live right now with you? Would you watch it again? Would you watch it again with us? Give yourselves a round of applause. Let's give Darina a big round of applause for everybody who hasn't seen or doesn't know what the 100 Millionaire Summit is all about. Well, check it out. Watch for yourself.
You are going to die.
The Battle of Fallujah, 3 days. It's not fun, right? It's hard. Physically broke, mentally broke. You can't change it. You're stuck.
And I went through years and years of school and built up debt that is just enormous.
Paying the bills, taking care of their family, but there's something more for them. There's something more for me.
I grew up very suicidal. This evil, I felt like I was under the trap, under the thumb of an evil dictator, and I couldn't stand it. I hated being told what to do. I hated being told I couldn't do things. I hated being told I wasn't smart enough or wasn't fast enough. I didn't have the ability to do that.
Maybe we get locked into anxiety or depression or frustration.
Life is a rare and precious gift, or it can be used to roll around you. How do you want to live? We are either moving towards our dreams or we're moving away from them.
I am so tired of putting everybody else first.
Anybody see how I could have lost the $600,000?
For the right reasons, moving throughout your life, making your decisions to be that better version of you.
What matters is how much income you can generate. Maximum income and financial freedom is what success is.
You know, the power of association, the power of the team, the power of connections, and we want to make sure everyone succeeds.
If you want to get rich, you can't just think about now. You got to think about what are the younger people doing. It's not about what I want.
It's so impactful for me, so impactful for my business, and I've been able to see my business grow.
I've been kind of traveling around the world, teaching people about how to be successful in business, how to develop their passions for life.
Unfortunately, your education system, your parents, your church, your teachers, and your authority figures, they all failed you. Our mission is simple. We build millionaires who are inspired to build other millionaires.
You start moving, doing something, taking action.
It's not about me anymore. It's about my ministry. It's about helping people.
When I'm helping these people reach their goals, it helps me reach my goals.
Things must change. I must change them.
Hold on to the bars and you'll survive. It'll be okay.
Each and every one of you deserves unimaginable wealth. It is your birthright. In the end, your life will be a summation of the choices you make.
We are all money magnets.
If you know that you're capable of more in life, if you know that you deserve abundance, then make the decision today. Join us October 21st to the 23rd. The time to claim your birthright is now. See you at the summit.
One more time. Let's give Darina a big round of applause. Fantastic. We're going to open it up to questions, comments, shares. This is your chance for everybody who is looking to bring somebody to the summit. The link is 100mmsummit.com. And you can check it out. We're going to have that video posted up there. I'll drop it in the link. And then somebody asked, are there videos from last year's 100 Millionaire Summit? Do we have access to check out those videos? It was Dorian asked that. Yes. If you go to alchemistnation.com, go to courses and then just type in the search at the top, type in 100 millionaires, or you can scroll down. I think it's, 8th or 9th course down, and it's right there. And it's all the best shots from last year. Now, we don't include a lot of the networking components. Obviously, we didn't record those. We did, but we didn't put them into these videos, and we didn't record a lot of the exercises that you'll be doing. So the exercise will still be a mystery for you. Is that all right if we keep some of that a mystery? So that in the moment, it's called experiential learning for a reason. Please don't ask others what we did. And if you did something, please don't tell anyone what we did. Let's keep it somewhat of a mystery so that when they're there, their mind is not prepared. We can put them into a really tough spot to break through something. Hence, Karen, if you commit to helping others enjoy this experience the most, excellent, awesome. Let's open up to questions. Thurbin, I see you, brother.
Good to see you again. So one of the things I was wondering was, now with these levels of failure, obviously I feel like I'm pretty high up there. But beyond that, I guess at what point do you like look at it and think about the winning aspect of it, if that makes sense?
When you wake up in the morning, right? So every day you set your goals to win. Like you take the act. So those failure goals are based on what it takes to win. So if I know in real estate investing, I know I'm going to have to call 100 people. I'm going to cold call 100 people to book one appointment. And it's going to take 10 appointments for somebody to sell me their house at a discount. That means I'm calling 1,000 people, and I'm looking for the opportunity for all of those people to say no, except for the 10 people who book an appointment. And then at those 10 appointments, I'm looking for 9 no's, because that 9th no is going to lead, the 10th no is going to be a yes, or the 9th no leads to the 10th yes. And sometimes, Thurbin, I'm setting the goal of I'm going to go on 20. I'm looking for 18 no's, because like the 19th and the 20th call could be 2 yeses. Does that make sense? So we set the goals, like our income goals, our wealth goals are based on no's. How many no's do I have to get to in order to get to that yes? And it's essentially, you've heard this before. I know you've heard this one. It's a numbers game, right? If you talk to enough people, you're going to get what you're looking for. Going for no is what allows you to talk to enough people to get what you're looking for. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Let's give Thurbin a round of applause. His book just came out.
So
Thurbin,
if I may, Walter, one of the things that if you were at our boot camp, awesome. Our boot camp happened a few weeks ago. If you weren't, you missed what we were talking about with the idea of positive and negative, and they don't really exist, but we create them in our mind because we don't like things. We call it negative, and we do like things. We call it positive. But the way I think about it is it useful? And when we're looking at failure is kind of like negative. It doesn't really exist. It's just something that pops out to say you got to do something different. But what we do, oh my God, I failed. You didn't fail. You're just not actually doing something you need to do to create the reaching of the goal that you want. And most of the time, what it is to keep going. And people don't like to keep going. They like to avoid failure because it's negative, and they don't like the feeling. And the reality is they're not in a useful state of mind in that place. They're not in a useful emotional place. And so if you really look at anything that's not working the way you want it to, examine what's not working and then change that piece and move forward towards your goal. It's a very simple process. And the reality is there is no failure until you actually quit trying. If you quit trying, you failed. But if you keep going, you go. Walter has his story of how he was falling apart at one point in his life, and life is not going to get me that way. And I had the same exact thing. In my experience, and I burned my life to the ground a couple of different times. But the reality is I didn't stop. I didn't quit my life. I started looking at me, and I started looking at what wasn't working in my life. And I took action to make the change. And if you do that with your life, if you do that with your business, if you do that in your relationships, and realize that the other person is never the problem, it's always you, you'll never lose. Because if you're thinking it's the other people, you're going to fail every time, because then you're powerless. But if you know it's you and you can make a change in your life with how you're interacting, how you're conducting business, how you're making decisions, all of that, if you pay attention to you and you change you, the whole world will change. But if you keep thinking the other people are going to change or the other situations are going to change, you're dominated by the world. That's all I got to say about that.
Thank you, Terry.
Awesome. Chong, I see you up there, brother. Let's give Dr. Terry Wager and Thurman a round of applause. Great job. Great questions.
Yeah, I was just going to mention, when I was running my team in corporate, we talk about failing fast and failing forward and the cost of not doing so. And in the corporate world, when you have some egotistic CEO, they don't want to fail, it ends up costing like 4 or 5 times more money, millions we're talking about. And so this concept holds true. I have a question for Dr. Terry. To me, it's all about self-reflection and how you go about the process of asking the right questions about yourself and learning from that experience to give you that focus. Say, okay, I understand now. Now what do I do? So give us like maybe something simple that we can just like, hey, this is, you guys can process this. Is bite size.
Yeah, the simplest that I have for you is in my book, page 55, and that's kind of a joke around here because I tell everybody we got to really look at that. Page 55. How am I wrong? Because we go into a situation with a preconceived notion that we're right about what we're looking at. We told ourselves we're looking at it the way we see it. It's this way. And so we walked in an invulnerable place, guarded, paying attention to what's going on, because that's how most every human being walks into a situation, guarded. We're watching out for the cave and what's in it. We got to watch out. There might be a bear in there. So we're walking in guarded. And so no matter what the situation is, what's going to happen? If we have that thought, we're already wrong because we're walking in guarded. We got to go, okay, how am I wrong about that? And how can I be vulnerable? The number one issue that everybody has is guarded versus vulnerable. We walk in guarded when we should be vulnerable. And the funny thing is our head tells us we are vulnerable, but we're not. We're actually guarded. And then what happens is we avoid conflict. And then we focus on trying to create harmony rather than conflict, and rather getting into something that's not working. And as we do that, we create more and more errors, and we don't even know we did it. We think they did. And that's what I was talking about a minute ago. We got to look at ourselves. We got to open up.
So, Doctor, so it sounds very much like having a growth mindset.
Oh, absolutely. Carol Dweck's book talking about fixed mindset versus growth mindset. And those are the two mindsets we have. Now, if we're in a fixed mindset, we're going to be dominated by the world, or we're going to try to dominate the world. If we're in a growth mindset, we're going to be more vulnerable, and we're going to be open to relationship. When we're in a fixed mindset, we're not into relationship. We're into transaction and domination. Whether we're dominated by it or we're on top, either way, it's a fixed mindset, and it's every man for themselves. In a growth mindset, it's relationship and how can we help each other.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Let's give Chong and Terry a big round of applause. Powerful questions get powerful answers. And that is one of the benefits of hanging out with our celebrity coaches, which, as you know, will all be at the 100 Millionaire Summit. Hands to the camera if you are one of those people who knows the power of the selfie. Have you learned how important it is to get pictures with other people? Absolutely. At the 100 Millionaire Summit, what I'm going to suggest, I'm going to pitch an idea, a challenge, if you will, a challenge to get a selfie with every single one of the speakers on the stage. Hands to camera if you know that's going to be difficult. It's possible, I'll get it. I know for sure I'll be getting a selfie with every one of them on the stage.
Easy.
And it's not just because of my positioning. It's not because of where I am. Although, yes, proximity to the stage does help. The closer I am, the more likely I am to get those pictures. It's because I always get pictures with the players. It's part of who I am. It's part of how I've created my brand. And some of those players become real big players a few years down the road. I've got the selfie with them. And Scam, if you know you're going to be in this for a long time, real estate's a long journey. So it makes a lot of sense and everybody in this room is likely to speak on real estate in front of others at some point if you stay in it long enough. Here's why. You're raising capital. You're going to need the ability to speak in front of others at some point. And if you happen to have a conversation with a group of people and you're able to put a picture up on the screen that says, hung out with that one, hung out with that, well, yeah, did that, did this, started this event, 4 years ago, 3 years ago, this is where I started. Now I'm here and I'm doing these buildings. It helps with telling the story. So my strong suggestion is to get a picture with every single one of the celebrity coaches at the 100 Millionaire Summit and make an epic post celebrating what you learned from them, how cool it was, because not only will they show up on your feed, you're going to show up on their feed, and anybody who knows them is going to be seeing that you're somebody elevating that person. Hence, if you know that helps you out, helps people know about you. It's a very smart play. So strongly encouraging it. Doc Terry's got to jump, and we're going to be jumping as well. So let's give Doc Terry Wager one big round of applause. Thank him for his time jumping in these calls. Appreciate
Thank you,
brother.
everybody. We'll see you next time.
Hell yeah. So open up. We'll take one more question. I think most of my celebrity coaches have already bounced, so they're amazing. I love those guys. Let's give them a big round of applause. They put so much time into doing everything that they're doing, running around. Go ahead, Eric. I see you unmuted, brother.
Yeah, actually, well, I guess I didn't have a whole lot of a question, but a couple of comments, observations. More than anything, I always say, you don't fail, you don't lose, but you're either training, developing, growing, or you're winning, or you're learning in the process. As Terry said, the thing is, if you don't quit, you never lose, you never fail. So I appreciate that, Terry, and I am going to get to that book. I've been holding that book for a couple of weeks now, but just reading a couple of other things, but looking forward to it. The video was phenomenal. Yeah, quit taking your own bad advice. Yes, sir. I am king of that. So yeah, I definitely got to slow down on some of that as well. But that video is epic, Doreen. I appreciate it, man. God bless you guys, man. I'm just glad to be a part of it. Looking forward to bigger and better, baby.
Hell yeah. Let's give Eric a big round of applause. He's been crushing it in the challenge. He's been hanging out in this community. He's been posting. He's been helping other people, inspiring people. So huge, just having people support. Having your cameras turned on, by the way, is another epic share. It helps others realize like they're not alone, seeing other people who are like them. I know one of the things that I got ripped apart for the 100 Millionaire Summit when I made a post about it is I don't have enough women on stage. Hence the camera, if you know, it was hard to find 3 women to get on stage, right? It was like, it's not exactly like this is a man-dominated sport, but we do have a lot of women in our community, and the women have a voice, and they're like, look, I want more women on stage. So that was a struggle. Another challenge I heard there's not enough Black people, brown skinned people on stage. So here's my challenge to all of my darker men and women. Let's do this, right? Let's get to that level where I can put you on stage because you're a millionaire, right? I want that. I want that opportunity. I want to be able to give that to you. I want to be able to give that to more people because people work with people they know, like, and trust. And if you look like them, you have an automatic instant rapport built
and identify with
to me. They identify with you. So for all of my people, and I now am relating to Indians better because we got Vinny Chopra on there. So India is 1 point something billion people. So we're coming. We're gonna help you guys out. So that's one of my requests. If you want to help this mission become successful, give me an opportunity to put you on stage. Give me an opportunity to put you out there. We are here, every one of us, all of our millionaires, all of our millionaire consultants, all of our staff, all of our business partners, whether it's Jen's Pens, whether it's Frank with Alchemist Financial, all of us are here to help you get to that next level. For one reason, I want to see you on the stage. That's my goal, right? 100 millionaires inspire to build 100 millionaires. I love and I appreciate your desire to be successful, your commitment to yourself, to your family, to your community, to this community, to leveling yourself up, to going for no, for not being afraid of failure, to saying, you know what, I want to get through all 5 levels, right? I want to fail so big that it's obvious. I want to fail so big with my tribe that we're learning such big stuff that the failures don't matter anymore because we're moving forward so fast. So I appreciate each and every one of you, your commitment to yourself and what we're doing here. So give yourselves a big round of applause for hanging out. Every Saturday, we step a little closer. Every Saturday, we're building those relationships. We're taking those steps. We have millionaires who show up every single Saturday. You wonder why they do. It's because they know that there's players in this room. And even myself, I was telling Andrew this last night. I do these talks. I'm learning the entire time I'm talking. The entire time I'm sharing what I'm sharing with you, I'm pounding it right back into my own head saying, man, I got to go out there and say, I got to go for more no's. Right. I got to push past this boundary of comfort zone that I've allowed for myself. Every Saturday, I'm not just talking to you. I'm talking to me. I'm saying, man, like, you got to go step up again. Like, we're doubling the income again this year, aren't we? Yeah. I have these conversations in my head. I know you have these conversations in your head. Hey, like, we're going to go do this again, right? Fuck yeah, we are. Let's serve more people. Let's get to that next level. So Stephen Beaver, I see your hand up. We'll go with Stephen Beaver. Let's give Stephen a round of applause. I have a hard time saying no to the hand up, right? I don't have any appointments right now, so you're good, brother. Go ahead.
So
if anybody's got to jump off, I understand. Everybody's busy. Go take some action. Go move. Recession Proof Challenge is at 1 o'clock. So everybody in the Recession Proof Challenge, we have our graduation at 12, and then we have so if you graduated from last Recession Proof Challenge, we're going to be meeting at 12. Anybody who's in the new one, we're going at 1 o'clock. Go ahead, Stephen.
So your golden nugget for today. I'm going to give a story after I tell the golden nugget. Golden nugget for today is people don't realize how seriously this is a golden nugget. It's a golden bar. Is the no's equal a yes? And everybody goes, yeah. So I'm going to give you a story. This happened 30 plus years ago. I was talking to my mentor about it, and he was like, dude, read this article. And they're not around. Well, they are, but nobody reads them anymore. It's Reader's Digest. And he gave me this Reader's Digest, and he had this big circle around it. I read read the article, and I read the article, and he had this circle around this. And he said, okay, do you get it? And I'm like, get what? And he goes, so I remembered he had this thing circled around there. And he said 5% of the population, this book is about 5% of the population is crazy, has got some kind of psychosis or something like that. And he goes, yeah, do you get it? And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he goes, dude, if you just go out and talk to 100 people, there'll be 5 of them out there that'll be crazy enough to do business even with you. Just go talk. Never forgotten that.
Let's give Stephen Beaver a round of applause.
That's good.
5% of people have psychosis. It's a numbers game. Even if your product is terrible, your sales pitch is the worst, 5% of those people might work with you. There's a chance that 5% out there is going to be like, that's exactly what I was looking for, sir. Thank you, ma'am. I've been waiting for you to come by my door and give me these shenanigans. Here's the deal. It gets better the more you dial in your avatar, the more clear you get with your irresistible offer, which, by the way, Andrew just dropped a cool video for irresistible offers. Hint, Scam, if you're in the challenge already, you're in the Recession Proof Challenge, and you got to jump into that video. Awesome. So we'll reveal that a little bit later today, but I watched it with him this morning, and I'm impressed with how detailed he went into the clarity around it. So, get out there and sell something, right? Put an offer out. Your offer will get better over time. You got to fail forward to identify what not to say. There's a couple of things. I made some mistakes on stage. Who knows I made mistakes on stage? Yeah. This one time I tried to give a pregnant woman advice. Don't ever do that. If you are a white male, don't give any woman ever advice about, how they should work their business if they're pregnant. I don't have a place to say that. So from now on, what I do on stage, and this is for anybody who ever is on stage, what I do on stage is before I respond to a woman who's telling me, well, I'm pregnant, I can't do things, I go, are there any women in the room who have been pregnant? I first ask for women who have been pregnant. And then I ask, are there any women entrepreneurs who have ever been pregnant while running their business? And I get somebody like Melanie who'll raise her hand and say yes, or Amy who'll raise her hand and say yes. I'm like, well, while you were pregnant, were you running your business? And they'll say yes. And then I say, why don't you give us some advice? Handscan, if you recognize, that's a really powerful lesson. because I have no position to give that sort of, information. But if you can find somebody in your room who is an authority on exactly that, well, now the person you're able to get past a barrier, right? I could never, if I couldn't relate to that situation, get past that or through that with that person. But going to a woman who's had a child and who's like crushed it in business with pregnancy and all the other things of being left and becoming a single mother, if she can do it, then you can do it. Does that make sense? We're grasping how this works. So we're all going to make mistakes. Fail forward, my friend. Fail forward. Crush it. Fail gloriously. Go out there and fail often, fail faster, and fail with a smile on your face, knowing you're building something really damn impressive. We're automating the millionaire building process. We're great at building millionaires, but it's still manual. Very soon, we'll have it automated. So your friends, your family, you can send them through the process, and they're going to be like popping out millionaires on the other side. That is the goal. We will not end this mission until we've accomplished that task. Until we've gotten that far, we know that without us, with 100% certainty, well, I'll be satisfied with 80%. Hand scan for 80% would be pretty damn good. We'll start with 80%, but there's going to be a team in place who gets us to 100. That goal is an automated process for building millionaires. So everything that you're doing with us, I thank you. I've heard this before. Every one of you is an investor in this mission. Anytime you invest your time with us, anytime you're investing your money with us, we're taking that time, that resource, that knowledge, that information, we're rolling it right into everything that we're doing here. So from the bottom of my heart, I am absolutely thankful to every single one of you, everything you're doing for your business, for your success, for this community. I appreciate you. Cheers to your success. We have a choice. Always work with the best.